Power is the Russian way. This is a video for you to get to know Russian personality and the 6 dimensions or characteristics of it. So how to deal with Russian people? We will see the 6 main dimensions that determine a culture, and we'll see how it influences the way things work in a country. The first criteria is power distance. Power distance is an extent to which individuals in society expect and accept the power being distributed unequally. Russia's got a score of 97, which means that the power distance is huge in a country. This can be shown in different status symbols in a country, that you have to show respect to those that are given the power, and as well a kind of top-down approach in different organizations. The power holders in Russia are tending to be very distant, and always the behavior reflects their status as well. So if you have to deal with your professors, managers, or any kind of person that is in a higher position than you, then you gotta first respect that power, deal with it accordingly, and show all the signs of respect to that person. And the second point is to let them feel that power. So if you really want to build an effective communication with such kind of person, that be really patient and let them feel that you really take your time to understand their issues, understand that they are busy, and really want them to respect you back. The second dimension is quite common. It's called individualism. So if we're talking about individualism societies, there people have to take care of themselves first of all, and of their closest members of their families. And if we think about collectivism societies, then of course you belong to a group, you think about your peers, and you always kind of think in terms of us and we. Coming back to Russia, Russia's got a score of 39. That means that we tend to belong to a group very much, and if, for example, we go out with friends, we literally say we go out with friends, мы с друзьями, rather than my friends and I as in English. That means that relationships are very, very important in Russia, especially if you want to get to know someone, or if you want to deal with some successful negotiations. And how to deal with it? I think that you should really invest a lot into building up those trustful and authentic relationships, and this is how you will be always in a group of Russians surrounding you, being friendly, and you will as well succeed in all of those activities in the university or wherever. The third dimension is masculinity. And this is not that masculinity that we think normally about machista and non-machista societies. Masculinity has to deal with the way people see their values in life in general. In masculine society, people are driven by the will to be the best, by the will to achieve the goal and show everybody that they are successful. And if we're talking about feminine societies, there people are rather think about caring about others and having a good quality of life, so this will be more important than being the first out of the crowd. Russia has got a score of 34, and that means that we are kind of a family society. And yes, it is very important for us to take care about other people, and that's very much connected to the previous indicator, collectivism. And on average, standing out of the crowd is not that much admirable in Russian societies. And this is why as well people tend to be more underestimating their capacities and skills in general. So in general, Russian people would rather modestly talk about themselves, they would underestimate their achievements, and you have to somehow understand that they're doing it. Even those really intelligent people like scientists, professors and doctors are normally having quite a modest lifestyle. The next dimension is uncertainty avoidance. 95 out of 100 for Russians. Yes. Uncertainty avoidance means the extent to which the society tends to build up institutions and belief to deal with the unknown future. Normally the future is unknown, so should the society control it or just let it happen? So this is the main difference in those two extremes. And Russia's got a 95 out of 100. Yes, we really need to control that future. And this is the main indicator that explains the bureaucracy. Russians have built one of the most complex bureaucracies in the world, and this is the explanation for that. Oh yes, you have probably already seen those really long documents that you have to sign, or all those official things with all the detailed information over there. This is how Russians tend to prevent those negative events of the future that may happen. Also, if you deal with some official representative of the company, then some of them might be not that willing to take the responsibility, and they will send you to another person to sign another document, so this kind of bureaucracy might await you. And this is actually the main reason why Russian people are not smiling on the streets. This is because we are really kind of afraid of this uncertainty. If we don't know you, we wouldn't smile you back, because we're kind of afraid of something negative to be happening to us, and we would be kind of formal and distant. But that doesn't mean that we don't like you. So how to deal with it, uncertainty avoidance? Oh yes, you have to be really patient and respect all the rules, deal with that bureaucracy, yes, this is how it is, and then don't be afraid of us being unsmiling or kind of unfriendly, because it is just the way we are. It's the Russian way. And the fifth dimension is a long-term orientation. So Israeli country has got a low score, and in terms of dealing with challenges of the present and future, they will take a look at their traditions and at their past. So they normally take a look at the changes with a suspicion. And if as a country you've got a high score, as Russia for example has got a score of 81, that means that you've got a kind of more pragmatic approach, and that you really invest into like modern education to deal with the thrift of the present. I might slightly disagree with that indicator, because I think that for us transitions are very important. And for example, take the 9th of May that we celebrate every year, or if you talk to a Russian family, that you will always hear stories about Soviet Union, so that might be kind of different in different situations. But how to deal with it? I think that you really need to be flexible and sometimes know about our traditions, to respect them as well, but know that we are kind of open and ready for new changes. And the last but not least indicator, which is indulgence. Indulgence is an extent to which a person tends to restrain his or her desires and impulses. Normally a weak control is called indulgence, and then strong control is called restraint. We got a score of 20 in Russia. That means that our desires and impulses are very much controlled by the social norms that we have. How to deal with it? Well, just be aware of that, and awareness is the first step of solving a problem. So just know that we are kind of rather restrained to ourselves. So summing up, when in Russia, be really patient with the bureaucracy, respect the power, and don't be afraid of those non-smiling people on the streets. So thank you very much for your attention. Really looking forward to seeing you in our welcome party this Saturday.